The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers fear. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of Crit and Miss Presents Out of the Abyss. My name is Sven, and I am going to be your DM for tonight. So sit tight, and remember to put some seatbelts on your ears because I'm about to take them for the ride of their lives. But don't embark on this joy ride on my own. No, of course, I'm going to be joined by 4 brave souls who have cast their fears aside to appear before the millions of viewers and lay their souls to bear. So tread lightly, fans, for you may tread on their very souls. How is everyone tonight, guys?
Good.
Excellent. Conscious.
Has everyone had a good 2 weeks? How has everyone been since last we saw your beautiful faces?
Can't complain. Been good. Chipping away at uni. Went to a gig last night. It was great.
Toby, how's your 2 weeks?
Yeah, eventful. Just work and then Anzac Day, so good.
Anzac
pretty cruisy.
Day. So imagine like parade. You must have gotten up early, yeah.
Yeah, up at 4 or 3 o'clock, and then first parade. Parade was at like 5:30, and then another parade at like 9. So
Got soaking wet probably at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yep. Yeah, only rained as soon as we started doing the parade, so it's good.
So for our international viewers, Anzac Day is a public holiday where we take a little bit of time off and we remember our fallen soldiers, the heroes of our country, as it were, and they have parades, and it's a big celebration, especially for those serving members, of which we have some in our cast. So why don't we take a moment to thank those members of our cast before we start dropping insults on them later. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. We appreciate it on Anzac Day, but now it's time to do another kind of to combat, as it were. We're gonna be joining the fray with Discord and above VTT and see if we can come out on top tonight and have a bit of a winner. But let's start tonight's game. We always have a little bit of banter up top. Last episode I sort of skipped over that and got straight into it, but I want to get back into the banter because I think it's what people come for. You know, they come for the banter, and I suppose they stay for the D&D afterwards if they've got a little bit of time left over. Let's talk about fear, because fear is a big, it's a key component of Out of the Abyss. Your characters have not shown an ounce of fear so far, mostly because they've been unconscious for a large part of the campaign.
Yeah.
But when has been like a moment where you felt like true terror? Whether it was like a long-lasting moment of terror or fear, like what's something that really got your bones rattled? Who wants to start us off tonight? Who's got a good story for us? All right, Grace, you put your hands up. Give us a jumping off point.
So, I don't know if everyone knows where Vancouver is. It's in Canada, and they have this fantabulous suspension bridge that is over a gorge that is probably like, it felt really high. It felt really, really high, and I can do roller coasters. I'm happy to do moving heights, but I detest stationary heights, and this, like, it was a 50-kilometer gorge. It was like huge, and it was a suspension bridge, and I know they're engineered to like the gods, but I was just like frozen in fear on this suspension bridge, and this was before COVID, and people were like pushing me to keep going, but I was just like frozen in fear, and my mom's like, Grace, let's take a selfie, and I'm like, do you want me to throw that phone? Because I will do it. And like the only thing that sort of knocked me out of it was when like my little sister bought me a hot chocolate, and I was like, this is slightly better because it has rum in it. But
now
like,
I might
was
die,
just
but I'll
like,
have a hot chocolate.
yeah. But yeah, I don't think I've ever been like so terrified in my whole life, and I'm afraid of the dark and needles and planes and birds, but that was just a whole nother level of like petrified.
Wait. Heights,
really ashamed.
planes, needles, and birds.
The dark and birds. Well, I'm not afraid of birds anymore. When I was in Montville, I had like a Amazonian macaw sitting on my head. It's fair to say I've conquered the fear of birds itself, but I'm not a fan of them flying at my face. It's not that scares me. You know, they just come at you and they're like.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of that.
Interesting.
Like,
So
they just like.
Probably not going to be playing in Aarakocra anytime soon. Then.
No.
Oh, they're so much fun.
What
No.
What is it about birds specifically? Like, is it their weird talons? Is it their beaks? Something in particular about birds you don't like, or is it just birds in general?
It's the loud flapping noise for me. Like, they just fly at your face and they just go, like, they make the loudest flapping noise, and you think they're coming right at you, but then they, like, stop, like, an arm's length away, and you're like, you so could have ripped out my face, but you chose not to. And I respect that, but I'm also scared of you.
Okay, alright, okay. Birds,
I don't know.
famously, hollow bones, quite fragile. Fear of birds. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I can dig it. They are a bit weird. I'm more afraid of their weird skin mites and stuff like that birds have.
Yeah.
Birds are generally really gross. See someone with a bird on their shoulder, I'm like, ew. It's like, I don't know if you've ever like held especially a wild bird. I've had to rescue some birds every now and then, and I've got these little mites that come off of you. It's super gross. Anyway, who wants to go next? Moment of fear, terror. Toby, you must have countless stories of when you're afraid and full of terror and fear. Every moment when you wake up and every night when you go to sleep.
Yeah, most just flashes of Kieran's face just coming, to me in my darkest moments. That's probably the biggest fear I get.
I do see you jump every time he adds his camera on Discord. There's like a little bit.
As soon as it comes up, it's kind of like it's an involuntary like reaction. But I can't. None that comes to the top of my head. I've definitely got probably thousands, but I can't think of one off the top of my head right now.
Can't bring one. I'll tell you what. Have a think about it. We'll come back to you. What about you, Remy? You got any good stories?
Nah, not really. I remember just one where it was like that brief moment of like, oh, I've made the wrong decision. So it was country Victoria. There's like a gorge system called the Blue Pools, where there's like a deep ravine, water, and then went with my half brothers and were jumping off the side of the cliff into the deep water, and we're doing that all morning. And then my brother took off. He went to jump, and he jumped. And then my other brother was like, go. And so I went to run. And then as I was running towards the edge, I saw my brother in the water right where I was normally landing. And my mind was like, I'm going to hit him if I jump. And so I put the brakes on, but there was water everywhere. And I slid. And then in that moment, I was like, I've made a crucial mistake here as I tumbled down the cliff face and bounced off things and slid down and ended up landing on him as he was swimming into the side. So that singular moment of slipping to the edge was that was fun.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at you. It sounds like a really horrible moment, but it also sounds very funny. It sounds like one of those natural one moments. Roll an acrobatics check, natural one, and you just go sort of bouncing down like a Roadrunner cartoon and hitting everything on the way down. Yep. Okay. No. Good. And that would have been one of those like real brief moments of fear before it just turned to
Absolute terror. Absolute terror. Like, I cannot control what's about to happen right in the next 2 seconds. So,
You let the gods take
Yeah.
the wheel, but you're still here.
Okay.
So
yeah, I had a scar from my knee up to my shoulder until I was about 14. It was happened when I was about 6 or so.
Oh man, hate to see it.
And yeah, it stayed with me for ages.
It's not as funny now
Finally
that I, knew,
faded.
that I know you were a child. It's funnier when I imagine you as an adult doing it. So I'm just gonna keep imagining you as an adult doing it.
Oh no, young little whippersnapper just tumbling down the side of a.
And I would imagine
With
even
a-
at 6 years old, you probably already had the mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I better grown one than Toby's has now. So yeah, it was when I was about 6 or 5 even.
Is
You
this
know.
kind of Toby night?
Well, I mean,
It's not my
Grace,
problem he can't grow a
We've been
moustache.
picking on him.
you started it off tonight. You came on. You came out hot with the microphone check. For
No,
those
that
who
was
don't
me.
know,
We all did.
we have a microphone
he
check.
started
Oh,
it. I
Mark
started
started it. Yeah, but you really snowballed that out of proportion. You really Mark may have shifted it to first gear, but you put the foot down like Fast and Furious 10 and really shifted into 120th gear. Has anyone ever noticed that in Fast and
I
Furious
just do my
movies?
best.
You keep track of every
They've got
time
like
they
50 million gears.
yeah, every time they shift, it's like they're driving a B double because they're shifting gears like 56 times. All right, that leaves us with Mark. Moment of abject terror. What do you got?
I mean, other than meeting actually psychotic humans from time to time.
Oh yeah.
Something a bit more friendly. So when I was like 3 years old, I really bungled an animal handling check. Like, I think I rolled a natural one. I'm at this. We had this wildlife park in the town I grew up in, and there were areas where they'd let like native animals roam free, and you could sort of be around in the space with them. And there were emus in this space, and they were generally pretty chill. So I've gone up behind this emu as a 3-year-old, tiny little thing,
Oh my
giant
God.
emu, and pat it on the back, on the tail feathers, and it's turned around and just gone, like, that was one of the scariest. Like, holy fuck, you know, I don't know. Like, my grandpa was there, and he full on went the emu to protect me. You know, like, it ended up running away from him because he just made himself really big and got scary. But yeah, that was terrifying. Those things are dinosaurs. They're huge.
I used to
Especially when you're 3 looking up at it like.
Fan fact here. I used to work at the Australia Zoo on the Sunshine Coast when I was much younger, still during high school. I worked at the ice cream stands that move around the park and all that kind of stuff. And I wasn't very good at my job, so they put me as far away from the crowd, from everyone as they could, which happened to be right next to the emu enclosure, like right at the back. I'm pretty sure it's still in the same spot. And the emus would just death stare me for hours on end, making this weird sound with their throat, like
Yeah.
just staring at me. I'm like, what? I got the ice creams. You don't have shit, you know. Piss off. I got to eat the broken ice cream. So I just spent hours on end just eating ice creams and just waiting around, because every time they had a show at the Crocodile, everyone would go there and there'd be no one where I was, which they did on purpose to get rid of me. All right, Toby, you've had some time to think about it. I really need make up a story if you have to make up a story. Show us your improvisational chops, but give us something.
Yeah. That one kind of comes wasn't very interesting, but I got years and years ago. I was probably like, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10ish, and at my grandpa's farm, and like one of the dogs was like a piggy dog, and it was a bit, well, not feral, but it was a bit, not as well trained as the other dogs, and it got out of its pen and like chased me around, and then like sort of not really mauled me, but like bit into my shoulder and stuff because I was too small to reach the gate to get out. So yeah, I just got bit by a big fucking dog, and then yeah, that one was pretty scary because I like was at the fence to get out, but I was too small to reach the lock to get it off to open the gate, so I was kind of stuck there just as it fucking did a couple bites to my shoulders.
Getting eaten.
Pretty scary.
what did I take away from this? We got 3 out of 4 stories so far that involve nature being terrifying. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay indoors, play Dungeons and Dragons. Don't go outside; you will die. Stay inside
Words of
where
bullshit.
it's safe.
Especially in Australia, jeez.
Yeah, okay. I'll
Yeah, everything can kill you here.
I'll give you a couple of stories. Who wants to hear a couple of stories? Because I've got one as well. I'm not going to put you
Bring
guys
it.
on the spot and not bring something
I
to
do.
the table. All right, so
Go.
I have a story of when I should have been afraid, but wasn't, and I don't know what was going on in my head. So my friend owned a Commodore back in the day. Really loved his supercharged Commodore. And Grace, you would know this. The road from Landsborough straight up to Mullaney, just a straight up the side of the hill on a 30-degree incline or whatever it is. It's ridiculously steep.
Yeah.
On one side you have
Sucks.
the cliff face of the mountain. On the other side you have just a drop off, and there's some houses built along the edge of that drop off. There was a car which had stopped to turn right onto a little side road. He hadn't seen it, and I'm like, that car stopped, and he didn't react. And I'm like, that car stopped, and the car swerved around it. He managed to avoid hitting the car at the very last second, but as the tires went from asphalt onto dirt and then dirt back onto asphalt, he lost control of the car. It pinwheeled, and he hit the guardrail and bounced off it. It was doing 80 kilometers an hour or something like that, and the guardrail was the only thing that stopped the car from going off the side of a cliff, and we probably would have ended up in the house of the people that were turning right, because we would have gone straight through the ceiling of their house. It was only that guardrail that stopped us from doing it. I felt nothing. I felt no fear. I actually laughed. It was kind of funny. He was crying, literally crying, tears
You
coming out of
laughed?
his eyes. But my sunglasses, the windows were
Oh my
open.
God.
I was wearing sunglasses. They came off my face, flew past him, out the driver's side window and landed in the bushes. And I found that rather funny. And no one else seemed to think it was particularly funny, but I did.
That could be a shock reaction.
Well, I mean, I've had shock reactions before, and usually there's something that comes like later, like hours later, or maybe the next day.
Yeah, right.
Nothing. There's nothing. I don't know why. It just must have been my frame of mind at the time. Maybe it just took me so by surprise. And at a time when I probably didn't need to be afraid, and this involves animals as well, so it just enforces the stay indoors and play D&D rule that the police should enforce. I would walk to the school bus every morning.
They did for a while, remember?
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, let's go back to that. Bring on more COVID. I would walk to the school bus every morning, and back then I had what did I have? Was that when I had an iPod? I think it was the iPod, or one of the ones that the poor people had when they didn't have an iPod, which is one of those just shitty little MP3 players. And I would listen to my music as I was walking to the school
I had
bus.
those.
Eyes downcast, walking along. I lived in Peachester. It's kind of like it's not really rural, but it's not isolated, but it's also not built up. And I was walking along, and my eyes were down like a meter in front of me, and all of a sudden I see this pair of feet, but not humanoid feet, like they were kangaroo feet essentially. And I looked up, and this kangaroo had been standing next to the road eating grass. It wasn't paying attention. I wasn't paying attention until we almost literally just bumped straight into each other. The roo shit its pants and jumped off, and like I pretty much did the same thing, except I couldn't jump as well as the kangaroo did. But not often can you see emotion on an animal's face, but I could see the look of surprise on this thing's face. It was a big roo. It was as big as I was, one of those big, buff ones that do the.
Like the really jacked
it was
ones.
like one of those, and it
Aw.
absolutely it had no idea it was coming. It wasn't paying attention, so we were both equally guilty of ignorance in that case. But it was a lot of it was quite a shock, and a good way to start the day.
That would be actually scary as fuck, because man, it could have just as easily kicked you.
Yeah, and they can
Yeah.
do some
Being
goddamn
startled
damage.
like
Those
that.
things.
Yeah, I know. Like it was probably like, you know, like you said, it's not often you can recognize the emotion. It was like it was probably had a similar moment with you. Realize you were just as startled as it, and was just like ah.
Yeah, it was just both of us
You know,
exactly the
could-
same. Ah!
Like, run.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my moment of rage. I got one more. That's probably a little bit more serious. I like you guys know, I used to do a bit of security in town, and a venue next door to us had a bunch of tables and all that kind of stuff. Fight broke out, table got knocked over, glass smashed all over the floor. I ran over, I grabbed a guy, I threw him down on the ground, hard, face first on the ground, and then he rolled over, and that's when I realised that he'd landed probably an inch away from a glass which had smashed on the ground and then landed facing upwards, so the jagged part up, and
Oh
it
my
was like
God.
right next to his neck. It was like right there, and I was like, you know, if he'd been an inch over to the right, maybe he had not. It might not have killed him, but it definitely it would have made one hell of a mess. So I lucked out on that one. I rolled my halfling's luck, and he missed out. So that was a moment of fear, and it sort of it changed the way I looked at things. Maybe just be a little bit more careful when you're dealing with people, like awareness of surroundings, because an inch matters. Anyway, let's get into this. But before we get going, I just wanted to say a huge shout out to Gus Honeychurch, who crafted our awesome theme song. The guy is an absolute legend. If you've ever thought about getting a custom theme song commissioned for yourself, because I don't know, maybe you're a wrestler or something, make sure you get in contact with him at Gus Honeychurch Music on Instagram. Now, who remembers where we left off on the last episode? Because I only have the very vaguest of ideas.
So, the deep gnome begins to succumb to the spider, and Lady Aethera attempts to help and saves the gnome from death and falls into the water and survives. ... probably. Then everyone proceeds to jump through the web hole, and they begin to escape and make it to the river where they escape. And then I just took a big list of everything we got, which was everything except my necklace and Aethera's spellbook, which is really sucky. And all my notes are written in character, so it's a lot of very choice words that I can't say on stream.
There you go. Twitch has no limitations on what you say on screen. This is free speech, ladies and gentlemen. This is like Twitter now. What choice words? Give us a little little teaser.
Lots of F words. Like fuck, where is my necklace? Fuck, where is my axe? Fuck, I'm unconscious. Why is this happening? And then sad faces. I'm not sure if you can see the passive aggressive sad face, and then the really sad face. And I'll try and see.
Does anyone have
I'm
anything?
a good note taker.
Does anyone have anything to add to that? Any details that Thrash may have missed out?
I will add that 3 of us were unconscious, getting tossed over the bridge into the water, but it was specified that Thrash, the biggest of us, was being carried by the big dude, and then at least 2 people were supposed to be carrying Perseus and sort of the rest. So I'm assuming that includes Serathor. I really hope so, because he was in a chain shirt, if I remember rightly, and he's unconscious. So we've got 3 unconscious people being carried by prisoners, or fellow prisoners, in the water, hopefully. And I assume Lady Aethera is able to swim.
All right,
We'll find out.
Let's find out. Let's make some rolls in a second. I'll tell you.
Never
Ront. Let's say Ront, the orc, has decided to play ball. So he's got you, Sarathel, and let's say who's left. So we've got Sareth, I suppose, is going to be the best left to carry our good friend Perseus. And that leaves.
So should we roll
They-
for
they should- that-
unconscious buoyancy, or
We'll
how
get to
much
some
air
rolls.
is in our characters' bodies for
We
something?
got, we got
I reckon the one
Ginger.
that's rolling on Perseus should have advantage by being assisted by the second person. That lady, if they're said, should help.
And Stool. I wonder if Stool can swim, given that he's only got a pair of legs.
I reckon
he's
he'd be
got
able
arms.
to
No,
float.
he's got arms.
Mushrooms are floating.
He's got arms.
Yeah,
They're
and
very
mushrooms are
buoyant
90%
mushrooms.
water.
All right.
Yeah, I
I'll
think
allow
they
Stool to
float.
be able to swim. You guys seem to be.
He'd be like a
attached to Stool.
boat because his little head would be like sticking out of the water, and like it would be like almost like a submarine, like a little
I
parachute.
dare
I
you to
imagine
try
it a
and
bit
use
like
him as a boat
a
and see
baby
what
crowning.
happens.
Just the cat part of Stool sort of floating up above water. Let's
And his little legs are just like.
let's switch scenes. Let's find out where
Now I'm
where you
sad.
guys left over, and then we'll start talking mechanics and see where we left off. So, made a little map for you guys for your
Ooh.
viewing pleasure. So you can see in the center there we have Perseus. Let's match everyone up with who I said was carrying them. All right, so Perseus, you're right next to Sareth. That is correct. We have Serathel. You need to be next to everyone's favorite orc. So we'll put you there along with your good friend Runt. I know you guys are buddies and you go way back. And then we have
Oh dear, this
Thrash
is gonna
the
go well.
Troublesome being carried by Darren Dill. All righty then. So I'm gonna give you guys just a once. Does anyone remember how long they were going to be unconscious for? Let's start with that. I think it was an hour for Perseus. Am I right?
Yeah, I remember,
Oh,
remember
right.
Perseus being in now.
Perseus
for me.
was 1 hour. Okay. Serathel was 3 hours, and Thrash, you were an hour as well.
I think I was 3, to be
You were
really
3?
honest. But like, I'd rather say 3 and be safe
Okay.
than say 1 and undersell you. So
I should
reckon
have
I'd
done
say
my
3.
homework. I was just way too busy and just didn't care enough about this campaign to go back and listen to the previous episode. I'm joking. I love this campaign, and I love you guys.
Thank you.
So let's for Sareth. No, Perseus. Sorry, not Sareth. Sareth is the person carrying you. Perseus. Let's say you regain consciousness as soon as your body hits this freezing cold water. You regain consciousness. Let's get Thrash and Serathel to roll a d4. Let's find out how much time we're going to take off that unconsciousness. This is not
Roll
something
a
that we
D4.
normally do, so don't think in the future that if someone's unconscious you can throw a cup of cold water on their face. It's going to bring them up. But just for this one time,
1.
I'll give you a favour. Alright, so -1 for Thrash, -2 for Serathel. Alright, so Thrash, you are now at 2 hours. Serathel, you are now at 1 hour. And Perseus, you are conscious. So, we open up on just complete darkness. You can see sort of in shades of grey, almost like one of those night vision cameras that people have at the front of their house. It's quite creepy. We can just see a broken, cracked stone floor and a sheer vertical stone cliff face. We can hear the sound of a waterfall somewhere in the background, and you can see a small lizard sort of poke its head out from this crack. Big eyes, obviously adapted for the dark, and it stops as it enters this cavern, and it looks around, flicks its tongue out a couple of times, and it can hear from somewhere in the darkness, over 100 feet away from where it currently is, in the distance some screeching sounds. So it stops and it takes in its surroundings. But after a moment, it feels as if the danger is far enough away for it to risk crossing the floor of this cavern. And as it starts to, scamper across this broken stone floor in this completely dark cavern, the sound of water grows louder and louder, and you can hear the water lapping on the edge of the stone at the shore of this underground lake, it would seem. And it stops and it looks around again, making sure that there's nothing dangerous nearby. It can hear some sounds from somewhere up above, but it must be over 100 feet away, it thinks. So it's safe enough to take a drink, and it lowers its head to the water, and just about as it's time to take a drink, splash! Something lands in the water next to it, and the little lizard just goes running off into the darkness. The camera pans across the water. Splash! Again, as another person lands in the water. Splash! Splash! As all in all, let's see how many people here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 bodies come splashing into the water. Perseus, the sudden shock of this ice-cold water brings you back from the brink, and the first thing that you remember is complete darkness. Alright, because this cavern is completely dark and you're now underwater. Let's have you roll a wisdom saving throw. Let's see if you start to panic.
13.
13. Okay, that's good enough. You managed to keep your cool. You're not panicking at this point. You were being carried by Sareth, and I believe you were strapped to him. Did you guys tie everyone to people?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
All right. So this dark elf that you met in this prison, you don't know him particularly well. But maybe even in the darkness you can deduce that that's who's carrying you. All right, because you're so close to them. You're literally strapped to them.
If I come back and then I'm like underwater looking around, really confused and just in a daze, and then I see a drow like right in front of me, like 'cause he's a drow, right?
Yes.
He's drow.
Well, yeah.
I'd probably
he's a drow.
because the last thing I saw was a drow cutting me down, so I'd probably push him away and try and get as far as I can away from him, because that was the last thing I saw, the drow cutting me down. So I'd probably just be booking it the other way.
So underwater, like, woo, 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 and you're trying to push away from
it'd be
him.
like where the fuck am I? And then seeing him, and try and just away.
Let's roll a strength and or athletics, and let's make it a DC 8 to see if you can just get out of these ropes that have you bound to this dark elf. 21. All right, that's
Wow.
not too bad. So you start to push away. You can feel he's trying to grab your wrist to stop you from pushing away, but you manage to pull free from the ropes. You're now free of this dark elf. You're not tied to him anymore, and you. Now that you're free, because he was struggling with your weight, you're both able to start swimming towards the surface. You can probably sense which direction that he was going, and you can follow him up, and you break the surface of this icy cold pool in this completely dark cavern. You can hear the sounds of people breathing heavily around you, but you can't see anything. Athera, you're in the same situation. You were the last one to leap into the water. So maybe Perseus, as you start to break the surface, you hear splash somewhere, like right next to you, just a few feet away from where you were. What do you do?
I'd be just getting away from any sort of like just backing up to like and sort of like in my own little space, and then just kind of get doing a scan of like, oh, what's around me, trying to soak in where I am now and what just happened. Like, why am I in water after falling on the ground 2 seconds ago, or I thought was 2 seconds ago.
Yeah, okay, so you can hear the sounds of people breathing heavily around you, and you can hear like splashing as people start to swim in one direction. So you wouldn't know because you can't see which way you wanted to go. You said you wanted to start swimming in any particular direction, or are you just treading water?
Yeah, not
at this
really
point?
for anything, just kind of like treading water and just if getting out of just if there's anyone, because I don't know who's like hostiles or anything, so I can't see. So I'm just kind of going to make my own space like in the water and just look around and see if I can see anything, or just like make my own space so no one, if anyone comes to me, I can kind of like just in a very like fight or flight and I'm ready to fight kind of just
Okay.
So like
wigging out a little bit.
treading water, just trying to keep anything away from you, and
Yeah.
running away from whatever noises you're hearing.
Okay. So while that's happening, Thrash is being carried by Darendil, and Darendil is he's a quagga. He's like this hulking, muscular beast, humanoid. Oh no. So tall, bulky, almost like a mix between like a bear and a gorilla, like shaggy white hair. And he's struggling a bit. Why don't I get you, Thrash, to roll a athletics check? Let's see how well Darendil can manage swimming with your weight strapped to him. I'll bring up his character sheet and we'll see what he gets.
I mean, if it helps at all, I can tell you that I did actually look up the exact weight for a snow leopard and wrote it down on Thrash's character sheet. So if you know how much that character can feasibly lift, I can tell you exactly how much Thrash weighs.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of research. I would say I would argue that given Darendil's sort of physical makeup, he's not a strong swimmer to start with. If you wanna do a little bit more research into how much someone can feasibly carry, I would say I'll make an argument for a DC, let's say 12. Athletics check for him to sort of manage your weight and break the surface. If you have an argument where you can think you can feasibly lower that DC, I'm happy to hear it. Or
no, that seems fair. So am I rolling Thrash's athletics?
So no, just roll roll a d20,
basic d20,
and I'll add his athletics to it, and it shouldn't be too bad. So. You got a good chance, that he's going to be 13. Okay, that's enough. So, Darendil breaks the surface, carrying you on his back. Let's do the same for Ront and Serathel. Serathel, can you roll a d20 for me? Let's see how well Sarath can do. So, I would argue you are wearing a chain shirt.
I am, and I rolled a 3.
I was going to set the DC at probably 14 for this one because he's the same size as you are. You're wearing a chain shirt. It's a little bit more difficult. Okay, so he's struggling. You don't know this because you're still unconscious.
No.
Lady Aethera, you're not carrying anyone, so you break the surface of the water. You can see in the dark. You can see that a lot of of your fellow cellmates have made their way to the shoreline already, like swimming towards the shore by the time you break the surface. You look around. You can see that. Thrash and Darendil have broken the surface, but you can't see Ront and Serathel.
I'm just gonna tell everyone, get to the edge, and then I'm gonna swim to the edge, and then hopefully using all of our tied up ropes. Once people start getting to the edge, we can start dragging people out of the water.
All right. So I'm going to need I think it's a Constitution check from Serathel, and also one from Ront. Let's have a quick look at underwater combat, because I meant to research this before tonight, but I was too busy setting up a new monitor. Let's have a look.
You could hold your breath for a number of minutes equal to your con modifier, but I don't know how that would work if you're unconscious. That might be a little bit iffy
different.
there.
Yes.
So con check or saving throw?
I'd say it's gonna be different. For you, Runt, he is able to stay underwater for a fair amount of time. It's a number of minutes equal to their con mod. Was that right?
Yeah, the con modifier, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Mine's 3.
All right. So
But yeah, if you're unconscious, I don't know if you get the benefit.
yours is 3. I'm gonna say if Runt is unable to pass the check this turn, as everyone else is swimming to the shore, as Lady Aethera said, I'd say you're going to go into death saving throws.
Alright, that's fair. So did you need a con check or saving throw?
Let's start with the saving throw. Let's go straight into the
throw?
saving throws. Let's see how long you can last for.
10.
So 10. That
rolled a
is
10.
a pass. So you can
Excellent.
chuck one pass on your saving throws, and we'll move ahead as everyone starts swimming towards the shore. So Lady Aethera, you're out. All of the others make their way to the shore. You can see Darendel like struggling, sort of crawling, clawing at the rock as he makes his way, breathing heavily, his fur like sagging down beneath him as he does so, and he's sort of dragging Thrash along the stone behind him as he makes his way out. The fishman Susha almost just dances out of the water. The drow Sareth, he makes his way to the shoreline, his long white hair sort of stuck to his face as he flops down on the shore, breathing heavily, drenched. What are you doing, Perseus, at this point?
So after hearing Lady Aethera's voice, who I kind of recognise as familiar, I'm going to just kind of slow my heart rate down and have a big, deep breath in and let it out. And also doing that, I'm going to use second wind to get back some hit points.
All right, so you're going to spend a little bit more time in the water. You're going to use second wind. You just
so I get 4 hit points back, and then when also because I can't see anything, I'm also just going to, as I breathe out, this small little glow is going to start in my chest and get lighter and lighter, and I'm going to cast light on myself so I can see.
All right.
So
I can dig it. You can tread the water as you leave one hand free for the casting of this spell. What are you casting light on?
my cell, my chest. So it's like in the middle of my chest. I have like a little, almost like Iron Man beacon that sheds bright light in a 20-foot radius, and then dim light for another 20-foot radius. So like 40 feet of light around me.
All right. Chuck that on your aura there, so we can keep track of what's light and what's dark. You guys can still hear the sounds of battle. You know, overhead you can hear the twang of crossbows very faintly. You can hear some yelling and some screeching. And Perseus, as I'm assuming you're making your way towards the shore as well. As after you
I would
the light,
start making my way towards the shore after I get a bit of a.
See sort of this light spring to life, and you can see.
I'm gonna
Perseus.
help him up.
Yep.
From the shore, and as I do, I'm just gonna whisper and be like, "Can we kill the light until we get out of here, so they don't know exactly where we're going?"
I'll look down and kind of realize I actually did cast and be like, okay, yep. And then I'll just think really hard for a second, the light will die down and go off.
You'll think really hard. What does it look like when you think really hard? Can you give us a
Just
for the
eyes closed, hands clenched, just kind of thinking because I'm not really sure how to cast spells properly, so I'm just kind of hoping it turns off by itself.
All right. Is this the first time you guys have seen Perseus casting spells? Just curious. Because you guys,
So,
Yeah.
you're complete strangers. You hadn't met until you guys found yourselves as prisoners of the Drow.
Yeah, like I remember Perseus doing some lightningy stuff, but that might have been at the very first scene when he was fighting the drow as he was getting
Yeah,
captured.
yes,
So
that's
Sarah
correct.
Yeah.
wouldn't have seen that.
Yeah. So you guys don't actually know this about Perseus. This is this is new. Except
I still don't know.
you still don't know because somehow you're still unconscious and still dying.
Yes.
All right, so we have another little
long-running
moment
theme of the campaign.
for Athera to do something as Perseus is making his way to the shoreline, sort of clambering up on all fours from exhaustion and shock from hitting this ice cold water. Athera, what do you do?
I'm gonna go over to this dwarf and remember that she mentioned something about a dwarf city, and then ask her which direction that was in.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Go ahead. In character. Throw that at me.
Yeah. While everyone's getting out, hurry up, let's go. Whereabouts is that dwarf city that you mentioned?
She's breathing heavily, and you can see with your low light vision or dark vision, as it's called, like her breath as she's panting, sitting on the shoreline, sort of gathering her stuff up. She's like, Gauntlegrim, I'm from the city of Gauntlegrim. I'm a scout. I need to get back there. I need to tell the king. I need to tell the king of the Dells and Dwarves. Something's not right here. And
And then I'm gonna
she
pick her
looks
up,
down.
like force her onto her feet, and kind of shake her out of it a little bit. I was like, which way do we go? Which way do we go?
You're sort of shaking her. She sort of comes to a little bit from the shock of what just happened, and she oh wait, Ron, to get back in the water with Sarathel. She starts to look around at where she is, and she's like, I don't know where I am. I was unconscious when the drow brought me here. Maybe some of the others can find a way, but I'm unfamiliar with this part of the Underdark. I'm sorry. Is everyone here? Has everyone gotten out?
I look into the water. Do I see everyone swimming, like making their way?
Roll a perception check for me.
Okay.
I'll set this at a difficulty of like 14.
18.
18. So you almost beat it by 5. But I'll give you some information. You take a look around at the people that are gathered here, and you take stock, comparing it to who you saw with you in the prison cells, and you can see there's a couple of people missing. The Brutus orc, who seemed a bit, confrontational. He's not there.
Is that not him there? Sorry.
Where?
Can you see my ruler?
No, I can't
this
see
guy.
that. So I'll tell you who's gathered there. All the way in the north. This will be good for the podcast as well, so everyone knows where everyone is. All the way in the north, we have Sareth Xekaret, the Drow prisoner. I'll tell you a bit what he looks like now that you're sort of looking around as well. He's a male drow. He's got like many features typical of drow: ashen black skin, long white hair, which is now just sort of stuck to his face as he's standing there, sort of looking around and taking stock. high cheekbones and like heavily bloodshot eyes, slim, wearing like a dark leather vest that he got from the equipment that you guys pilfered, embroidered at the collar with like this intricate sort of purple decorations, which is quite standard for Drow. You can see just below him, you've got Perseus there. You have Sushar, who is a Kuotoa. I don't know if you would be familiar with Kuotoa, but he's nothing more than essentially a fish that's grown a pair of like webbed feet, started walking upright. It's got like silvery skin, big bulbous eyes, well adapted to the dark, obviously. He's wearing what looks like an Underdark version of a potato sack. Below him you have Derendil, who is a Quaggoth, like I already explained what he sort of looks like, sort of like a mix between a bear and a gorilla. Next to him you have Toby, who is a dark gnome, a deep gnome rather, not a dark gnome, a deep gnome. He's quite scruffy looking. His hair's sort of poking out in all different directions. He's got like sideburns. You can't really understand him when he talks. Jimjar, another deep gnome, 4 foot tall, pointed ears, bald head. Where is he? He's all the way down the bottom there. You have Eldeth, who we're just talking to. You have Stool, who looks like a humanoid, tiny little mushroom, like if a child turned into a mushroom, like a toddler. And that's who you see. And the people missing are the orc, who is not there. Obviously, Serathel Duskren is missing. And one of the other deep gnomes, Topsy, who was the first person, the one that jumped off into the spider's web. You broke the web, she fell down into the water, and she seems to be missing now as well.
I'm going to approach this swimming lad and ask him to go search for some dudes that may have been like sunk to the bottom of the water, or are struggling, or need assistance.
The fish dude.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So you walk over to him and you get his attention, and he looks towards you. He says, "If everyone is accounted for, we should get going as soon as we can. The drow will not be far behind."
Oh no, there's still some in the water. We think. Can you go check? Because you look like quite a proficient swimmer.
Of course, my kind have long been residents of the Dark Lake, but I will not delay. Let's get another death saving throw from Serathel as Sushar makes his way back into the water. And then we'll roll another roll for Runt, and we'll see if he's able to get his composure. And
that's a fail.
All right, so we have 1 success and 1 failure. Let's roll a athletics check for Runt. Do you want to roll that, Serathel, or do you want me to roll it?
I can roll it. Just a D20. You'll have the
roll
thing.
a D20. I know what his athletics is, and
11.
I'll tell you. All right, now 11. So what did I set it at? I set it at 14, didn't I? So that is going to be a success. So he starts to get his composure and starts to make his way to the surface. This whole time they've been sinking down, so I'm going to say that he needs another success to make it to the surface. But Susha enters the water, and you guys see him dive beneath the waves which are being created by the waterfall, and that's the last that you guys see of him. He just dives beneath this Stygian darkness of this small body of water. Let's leave the tension there. He's down there for 6 seconds. What do you guys do?
Um, can we see Thrash and the mushroom person making their way over?
Yeah. So Thrash is there. She's like lying on the shoreline.
Oh, she's on
Her
the shoreline.
fur just completely drenched. Probably can barely even see her face because her fur is just matted onto her face. And Stool is there as well, just pacing back and forth on his tiny little toddler-sized legs.
I'll go over to Thrash and just start like assessing and see if there's anything I can do to help fix that. Just like a medicine, so sort of check over and just
Yeah.
seeing if there's.
I'll tell you what. Roll a medicine check, and we'll see where we end up. Lady Athera, get off Thrash.
I got an 11 for medicine.
An 11 for medicine. With an 11, I will say, I mean, you know that she's unconscious, and you look her over and you treat her wounds as well as you can. You know that she's stable. It's just going to take time for her to sort of regain her consciousness at this point. It might even
And we'll
take
look to Lady Athera.
2 hours if you were to take your best educated guess.
An hour and 58 minutes roughly.
An
Just
hour and
eyeballing
58 minutes, yeah, something like that, yeah. Well, I mean, it's been a few
Kill
rounds.
wounds, come on.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
come
look to
on,
Lady
Clara.
Athera. I'll look to Lady Athera. Like, did you get our equipment before you get out? Did you find anything? Did you find a little bronze medallion with like 3 lightning bolts on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Here you go.
Right. Thanks. Okay, I'm gonna look at it and I'm like, okay, fuck.
Did I
Yeah.
tell you guys what equipment I took from you? Did I tell you that? I think.
Yes.
Yes.
So
You did. Only 2 people
what
lost
we
stuff.
got back was everything except for my necklace and Aetheria's spellbook, 6 change sets, 6 studded leather armor, 6 shields, 6 hand crossbows, 20 cases of hand cross bolts, no Thrash necklace, 6 short swords and 10 daggers, 6 bags of cold chops, 20 per bag, 4 times 100-foot rope, 2 building hammers, they can't be used as weapons, and 2 bags of iron spikes with 10 spikes per bag.
All right, but did you guys take stock of what your starting equipment was before I took it away when we started the campaign? No,
It was on my character sheet.
Good thing I wrote it all down so that I could tell you guys if you got it back. So, are you guys ready to write down your equipment?
I'm not even conscious yet.
L to the yeah.
Well, I mean,
I can't like.
Okay, so I won't tell you yet, Sarathel, but I'll tell those conscious people what equipment they're getting back.
I mean, if we're gonna
of
do it now, we might as well.
what just was relayed to us by the great note keeper of the adventure. Let's start with Athera. So you got back your backpack, bedroll, fine clothes, mess kit, a spear, your hemp rope, your signet ring, a staff. I don't know if you want that or not. A tinder box. Your tinder box is now completely drenched. It's not going to work for a while. Torch, same thing, drenched, not going to work for a while. A water skin, a scroll of pedigree, but your spell book is missing. Let's go with the next conscious person. Perseus, you got back your backpack, your bedroll, your chainmail, your clothes, your 20 crossbow bolts, keep track, 20, your light crossbow, an emblem, a longsword, a mess kit, your hemp rope, 50 feet, a shield, a tinderbox, your torches, which is 10, water skin, and a broken blade. So you can go through all of the equipment that was brought down with you guys, and you can start going through your stuff and chucking it back on as you're waiting for to see what happens to Serathel.
Yes, I'm just gonna quickly get that that power pendant back. It's like a bronze medallion with like 3 lightning bolts on it,
Yep.
and then I'm going to hold it in my hands and then just do a couple of weird hand gestures and then touch Thrasher's chest, and then nothing's gonna happen. And I'm gonna try and do it, get a similar motion, but it's a little bit different, and then try it again, and nothing's gonna happen. And then I'm just gonna be like, okay, and I'll just rub my hands together, just think for a bit, and then a little bit of like spark is gonna happen to my hands, and I'll stop. Like, and then I'm gonna do that again and try and rub my hands together, and then I'm gonna start sparking, and I'm gonna put like try and get a bit of spark. I'm gonna put it on her chest. I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on her.
Okay, and you guys can see whenever he rubs his hands, you can see the static electricity starting to build up, like just like little motes of light, like dancing along his hands as he's doing it. It's just because it's complete darkness. This sort of stands out. You can see it even better. So cast Cure Wounds on Thrash that lives up to her name, Troublesome.
As the spark like goes through my hands and into her chest, she gets 9 hit points back.
You're getting back your 9 hit points. I believe that actually just brings you back to 1 hit point since you're going from unconscious to
yeah.
to health. Isn't that right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure
No,
that's
you
how it works.
You get full back.
You get the full thing.
Not with a healing spell.
Yeah, you get the full thing.
Oh, right. Okay, I'll allow it.
Nice try.
This one.
Oh,
just
by
this
the
once.
way, just so you know, your rations all missing. You did not get your rations back.
Oh, fair enough.
So spellbook missing.
Oh, do I get to know what's behind door number 1 for Thrash?
So behind door number 1, come on down, contestant. You've won an ancient red dragon. Congratulate. No. So you get a melee vacuum cleaner, a Mitsubishi. What's a Colt? Mitsubishi Colt. That's the one they always used to give away in game shows, right?
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's right. It's a car that no one ever wanted, so they had to give them away. No, you get your backpack, you get your bedroll, your dagger, you get back your great axe. I don't know how you guys managed to carry all this down, but you pulled one over me and you managed. You got 4 javelins. You did have your playing cards, but they got wet and probably got pretty wrecked. So let's roll a d20, and if it's above a 10, you've still got them. If it's below, this is a bit redundant, but I like rolling dice.
11.
11. You've still got your playing cards, so you start laying them out to dry them. You got your 50 feet of hemp rope, a tinderbox, 10 torches, your water skin. Sorry, I'm talking a little bit quickly. You have your company uniform. What does your company uniform look like for the blood axes?
I mean, basically, she's an assassin, so basically the way I'd picture it is just like a really discreet sort of like FBI badge almost that she'd like pull out if she needed to show rank. But like, I doubt Thrash would be very much into rank, especially with those that she's like loyal to. Like, you know, rank isn't really a big thing for her. She doesn't really give a crap. So if it had been lost, she probably wouldn't have been upset.
All right. So yes, you have that, and your insignia of rank. The only thing missing from your equipment is, of course, your pendant. So yeah, that's
So Thrash just sort of, just like a cartoon, wakes up and without even looking, punches the first thing that's in front of her, because the last thing she remembers is being in battle. So
All right. I
I'm
guess
just gonna roll an
roll
unarmed
roll an
attack.
unarmed attack on Perseus.
25. It crits.
All right. And I I am going to say that that is non-lethal damage, and B, I mean, what kind of armor do you have? You probably weren't wearing your armor either. So if you're getting punched in the chest,
I did put it on my character, but no, I would have put it. I was going to put it on after I, you know, helped. But no, AC 11 is not going to do it for the 25.
I'll tell you what.
That's fine. It's just comical.
Let's just roll a d4. No, it's just 1 plus your strength modifier, isn't it? An unarmed attack.
Yep.
So yeah, what's your strength modifier? It should be +3.
Yeah, but like I just sort of say that because she was coming out of an unconscious state, she probably wasn't aiming that well,
All right.
and it was just sort of like a get out of my face. Sort of like there are people in my face.
You take 2 points of damage, 2 points of bludgeoning damage, as Thrash panics as she comes to, and she starts pushing away and striking out at whatever's near her. Actually, you know what? Don't make that bludgeoning damage. Make that slashing damage as her claws come out and she starts clawing at your face. And she manages to get a good hook in there and give you a bit of a scratch. What do you do?
Yeah, no, you're welcome. Yep. Yeah, anytime. I'm happy to do it.
Like, where are you? What's happening? What, where? And then she sort of looks down and her necklace is missing. And I think instantly, without going into rage, obviously, you can just see the blind, searing rage in her eyes. And she gets back up to sort of try and figure out how to get back up. And she looks at the wall and realizes it's unclimbable. And the rage just continues to seethe. And she's just like trying to like calm herself down, but she's having like a rage attack. Like she literally cannot contain the rage she's feeling.
All right, we're gonna go back to Serathel in a second, but I want to add a little bit of flavor to this pendant that you had. Can I take the initiative and describe the pendant to you so we have a little bit more context?
Feel free.
So the pendant that you were handed, or that you were you given it by your parents, or did you find it on their bodies after they were burnt to death?
It was sort of like a 1 hour before, like a family heirloom sort of thing, and then the fire happened.
So it was almost like
sort
fate.
of, yeah.
As it were, you were given this pendant by your parents. The pendant appears to be, it's like a dull grey sort of gunmetal affair, maybe a few inches across, like a circular sort of shape, and in it is what appears to be like a large hat with a feather sticking out of it. That's what the pendant is. You don't know if there's any significance involved in that or not, but you know that it was a family heirloom and that it was handed to you by your parents. So we're going to go back to Serathel. Sushar swims down into the water and is going to aid Ront in his role. Mark, do you want to make that roll again for me, or do you want me to roll it?
Sure. No, I got it.
You roll it, okay. I know what his athletics is, so
9.
9. Roll it again because he has advantage because Sushar is now assisting him.
Oh yeah, sorry, I should have rolled 2 at once.
You should have, but you're letting us down.
1.
1. Okay.
So I'm glad he had advantage and got the 9.
The 9's still not enough. So he's still struggling in the water. Sushar is there now, sort of helping him out. But I'm going to need another death saving throw from you, Serathel, as he still struggles to break the surface.
Fuck.
Another failure.
Damn it.
That's not good.
Another 6 seconds pass. You guys still don't see any sign of Ront, Sushar, or Serathel. Lady Athera, the deep gnome, Jimjar, bald-headed, like large, pointy ears that stick out to the side. He sidles up next to you as you're, assuming, standing on the shoreline, watching.
Yes. Yep.
Yes. Let's see what you had on you. Did you have anything nice? He'll sidle up next to you and he says, he'll nudge you with his elbow, like in your hip. He's much shorter than you are. He says, I'll bet you that that nice shiny ring you got there that they don't break the surface. What do you say?
I'm gonna look at him with a bit of grotesque, and look at the water, and then move over to the edge of the water and try to get a better look to see if I can see anything under the surface.
Come on! It's just a bit. Roll a perception check for me.
'Cause I am great at perceiving things. 8.
8. All right. No, you don't see anything. Just this. Almost, it would be just a completely flat, black surface of water if it wasn't for the ripples from the waterfall. Time is ticking. You know it's taking a long time. You knew that it was unconscious when you hit the water.
They're both fucked and can't see. And I sent the fish person down. So I'm gonna just hopefully that the fish person does what was asked, goes to help, and yeah.
Yep. I think it's just we need to pray to the dice gods at this point.
But I'm actually going to go talk to someone and be like, where are we going? Where is there a settlement nearby? Is there a town? We need to get to the surface. We can't stay here for too long. And because there's still like sounds of battle going up.
Yes. You don't know how long that's going to last for, but you can still hear the sounds of combat happening somewhere far above you. They're distracted for the time being, but for how long, you just don't know. The drow man steps up. He says, "The priestess will not take this slight lying down. She will hunt us. She cannot let the forces here in Vulcanvelve see her being weak. She will hunt us. We need to get going soon. They won't be distracted for long. I know where we can go. I know a place where we will be safe." And he looks towards Stool, who's sort of standing next to him. He sort of looks down. He says, "Neverlight Grove, the Myconids, this one's people." And at the mention of Myconids and Neverlight Grove, you see Stool sort of perk up a little bit and sort of move around. It's kind of difficult to understand, you know, because he's got no face, no facial expressions, but he seems kind of excited.
Are they friendly to everyone?
It's well known even among the drow that the Myconids of Neverlight Grove offer protection and succor to those lost in the Underdark. And you see Jimjar nodding his head. "Yeah, it's true. I've heard that," he says. "What do you want to do?"
Which way? Which way to him?
"I could guide you there." And as he's speaking, he gets interrupted by Darendel, the hulking Quaggoth. He's speaking Elvish, but you can almost hear two voices overlapped because of Stool's sort of thing that he's got going on with the spores. And he says, "No, we should not go to Neverlight Grove. We should go to Gracklestug." Let me just. No, not Darendil. Sorry, I'm giving you the wrong person here. Where is he? Where's my little man? There's Toby. There's Eldrith. Jimjar. I think I forgot to put something on the map here. Actually, now that I look at it, who am I forgetting? I am forgetting. Bapido. There we go. It's Bapido who steps forward, and he is the Darrow, which is sort of like a small, hairy dwarf, as it were. And he says, "No, we should go to Gracklestug if you want to find a way out of the Underdark. At Gracklestug, there is much trading happening there.
Yeah, probably slave trading, I bet.
They trade quite often with the surface people. If there's any way out, then the grey dwarves of Gracklestug will know. Or if they will not help you, then you will certainly find someone in the Lake District who can show you the right way."
I think we should go to the Mushroom Dude's colony. Sounds way safer.
Yeah, seems fair.
Let's get another roll. Mark, you have not been having particularly good luck with these athletics checks. Does anyone else want to roll athletics checks? This one. Does anyone else want to roll that one?
Yeah, maybe I should let someone else roll this. I've been not doing well.
I'm happy to roll it if you'd like.
Yeah.
Please.
Give us that roll. Show us what you get. Can you roll better than Mark? Will this...
Nat what? Oh, 10. 10. I thought it was a nat 1 and I nearly passed
All
away.
right, a
Okay,
10.
it's a 10.
That's...
It's 10.
you get to roll
Still
it
not
twice
enough, is it?
as well. You get to roll it again because it was a DC 14. He's struggling. It's just not enough.
Okay.
Roll it again because he has the advantage granted by Shusha helping him out.
Even worse, 6.
6. Oh no, maybe Grace wasn't the person we should have
I'm
asked for this
sorry.
roll. Serathel, I'm gonna need another death saving throw. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you've got 2 failures, don't you?
Yeah, if I don't roll 10 or above on, is it 10 or above or
It's-
above 10?
It's
And above.
10 or above. Yes, it is 10 or
Okay.
above. Do you have
Don't know if I
inspiration?
should-
Have I given you inspiration?
No, I've
Nope.
used it.
And you've been too unconscious to do anything
To
cool
get
enough to
any
earn
more.
more inspiration. So,
Yeah.
guys, this is a
exactly.
50-50. Will we see
We
Serathel?
might have our first death. Let's see.
Oh.
Hopefully not.
I'm so sorry if he dies.
10. Just.
Oh. Oh.
oh man.
Yeah,
You're really scraping by.
just right on the line.
Man, if I'm not out of the water in the next round, this is going to be even worse.
This could be the end unless something changes here. All right, he's still struggling. He still hasn't made it to the surface. Let's go back to you guys, Perseus, Athera. What do you guys want to do? Jimjar will tell you guys as well. There's also Blingdenstone. He says, you know, the deep nose of Blingdenstone. They will. What's his voice? He's supposed to be like British or something like that. I don't know. Or you could go to Blingdenstone. Yes, my people there. They will certainly. They'll help, I suppose.
Which one's closer? Mushroom Colony or your place?
Well, as you're sort of saying that, I mean, you guys have sort of touched on this before. So if you take a second to talk to those people that are there at the moment, you'll get a bit of an idea. Let me just bring this up real quick because I do have this written down in my notes. Let's have a look. So Bapido, who said you should go to Gracklestug, he'll know that you can get to Gracklestug by the southern route on foot. It'll take you about 28 days. But there's another way that he suggests. We could go by foot via that way, and he points towards the south. Or there's a better way. We can go this way to the fish persons. His people, they live on the Dark Lake. We could use the Dark Lake to get to Gracklestug much quicker and much safer that way. So you've got two options. You can head south. It'll take you 28 days, at least. That's a minimum to get to Gracklestug. Taking the Dark Lake might go a bit quicker. You know that.
No, I don't trust this little dude. Yeah, as far as I could trust him. So I reckon we just go by foot.
With the water.
You know
Yeah.
that to get to Neverlight Grove, it's actually the same direction. So if you travel on foot to Gracklestug, 28 days to reach Gracklestug, and Sareth will tell you that it'll take a minimum of 36 days to reach Neverlight Grove by foot. You can possibly make that shorter by taking the Dark Lake to Gracklestug and then on foot to Neverlight Grove. It's possible. And Jimjar will tell you towards the north is where you'll is the sort of quickest route to get to Blingdenstone. But the others, particularly Sareth, they don't want to go that way because it takes them far too close to the drow city of Menza Berenzan, which is where you guys were going to be taken originally. So obviously around Menza Berenzan there's going to be far more drow activity and far higher chance of you being caught again, so they're not keen on going that way. Who else have we been speaking to? Eldeth, she doesn't seem to have any idea which direction she needs to go. She just wants to get out of there, and she will probably say that her opinion, she wants to go to Blingdenstone, but just not sure what's going to be the safest route to get there.
Let's just start heading by foot. We need to hoof it. We need to like make some ground, like run for as far as we can.
Yeah, definitely not towards Blingdenstone. We need to go the opposite way. Let's head towards the lake.
Towards the lake?
Yeah. Because from the lake we can go to those. We can go to two places. We go to the lake. We either go to the mushroom place or to not the grove, the other one. Can we both be taken from the lake? Whereas if we go the other way, then we're heading.
Neverlight Grove, you cannot, you can't reach Neverlight Grove via the Dark Lake. But you can reach Gracklestug via the Dark Lake, which is probably the closest you can get by boat, and then walk the rest of the way. It's probably quicker, probably safer than just humping it for 36 days at minimum on foot. But that's about. Yeah, that's about all you know at this point. And you also know that Stool, he'll pipe up in his weird little mushroom voice. Yeah, Neverlight Grove. Something like that. Just made that up on the spot, guys. Because that's what I do.
I like him.
That's what I do at Crit and Miss. And then he pulls out like a serrated dagger and he just starts stabbing Sareth. Die! No, he doesn't do that. Sorry, I just wanted to ruin the character.
I was
for you.
gonna say.
No, so yeah, that's what he wants to do. He wants to go to Neverlight Grove as well. So, up to you guys at this point. Perseus, what are you doing?
I was going to put my armor on, but it's going to take too long to do that. So I've just strapped my sword belt to my waist and sheath that and pick up my shield and throw my armor in my bag and just getting ready to head off because we need to get out of here quick before this drow comes. So yeah, and then I'm like, I reckon we should head towards the lake, then through Rakostad to the Grove. I reckon that's our best bet because we're definitely not going towards Stone because that's city. We're just going back into trouble.
Yeah. I think, like, obviously Thrash, having dealt with that whole thing, she's come down from her fit of rage. She's a bit more logical now, and she sort of looks to the river, and obviously being an assassin, probably doesn't, like, she is not a fan of walking anywhere for long periods of time. She enjoys staying hidden, and she thinks the shortcut would be the best route. She sort of voices that and is like, I believe the shortcut would be the best route, but on foot would be safer. It's up to everyone, though, I think. I think it would sort of come down to a group consensus, but Thrash would like to take the river.
Okay, river it is. Let's go.
Wherever it is. Okay, off to the dark lake.
I'm still drowning.
No one
Yeah.
seems to. No
Can
one
we
seems to be
fix
too
that
worried.
first?
All right.
I'm gonna need a minute to compose myself when I get out of the water.
I'll tell you
if
what.
I get out of the water.
I am going to roll this. All right. I
Yeah.
will roll this.
I'm
I will take your fate in my hands. So 2 d20s. Watch this. A 16. You ready? It does take a little while to roll, thanks to
Yeah.
my lovely internet. But I
Build up the tension.
Oh, 2 5s. So what was your
And you
backup
happen to go
character,
with me.
Mark, again?
I've actually repurposed my backup character for our one shot tomorrow night, so I need to write another one.
Well, I'll tell you what, you've got an option. You've got to start writing a backup character now, or you can give us another roll. Roll another death save. You've got 2 fails, you've got
Alright.
2 successes. You might come back.
Yep. Let's switch over to.
I
have a
can't
very,
look.
I have a very checkered history with dice. So
I can't look.
This is just to
Fingers
see if you
crossed.
die. You're
Let's
not
see
going
how
to
this
come back to
goes.
consciousness, just to see if you drown.
I can't see what that is. Hang on.
Neither could I.
Oh,
Natural 20. I'm fucking awake,
Yes!
motherfucker. 1 hit point.
I love this game.
My God.
Oh.
All right, so
Alright, so I start immediately just like, you know, like, and try and scramble my way to the surface and breathe.
if I upload this onto Spotify, I will upload this onto Spotify. So for those people who are just
Please.
listening, Mark has a dice cam that he set up. So when he makes a particularly important roll, he switches over to his dice cam. He rolls the dice, and we can see what it is with a physical dice. He rolled it, and it landed right at the bottom, where I could only see a 0. So it was just, all I could see was the 0. And then he moved it, and it was a natural 20. Ladies and gentlemen, that is more than 5 above what you needed. So yeah, I'll give you this little advantage. Not only do you pass your death save, you start to regain consciousness, and with the help of Sushar, manage to get your bearings and make your way to the surface. However, this was a very, very close brush with death in the darkness, in an alien world, essentially. So I'm going to need you to roll on the madness table. Let's see if you can keep your
No way.
keep your mind
Madness
together.
table. I didn't even know this was. This is so cool. Alright,
Yes,
what do I roll?
This is actually in this particular campaign. Let's see if I can find it here. Features. I'm sure it would be there, right? know that it's in this book somewhere, and I want to read it straight out of the book. Nope. Nope. While I'm trying to find it in the book, does someone want to look it up in D&D Beyond for me? Because you'll probably find it a lot quicker than...
Yeah, I got it.
You got it already?
To do so. Oh.
Yeah, do you want short term or long term?
So this will be the first one. So short term to start off with.
Okay. Roll a D100.
Roll that
Ooh.
100 Zoni. Let's see what happens. Hey, maybe
Alright,
you
I think
start
I'm just
drowning
gonna
again.
electronic dice this one, because that'll be easier. It's right there. Rolling. What did I get? 2.
2. Tell us what is 1.
Ooh. The character retreats into his or her mind and becomes paralyzed. The effect ends if the character takes any damage.
Damn it.
All right, you've already broken the surface. Susha's there. Ront is there. You are paralyzed, but they drag you back to the edge. Don't you use? Oh yeah, no, that's right. Okay, so they drag you back to the edge. You're just completely paralyzed in fear. You've probably maybe still got some water in your lungs, and they just sort of as soon as Ron makes it to the shore, he just drops you and starts walking off. I almost drowned for that maggot. He says. Susha stays with you, sort of looking you over. He's swallowed a lot of water, but I think he'll be okay. What will be our next move? We should go quickly if we're to avoid recapture.
Someone get him up. Someone grab his arms and get him up. We're gonna head towards the lake.
Yep.
Knows the direction.
Crash just sort of walks over and obviously probably being the strongest, just sort of grabs him under his arms and like lifts him and like tries to like set him on his feet, I guess.
As you mention the lake, you get the attention of Susha now that he's on the shore. He looks towards you and he says, "To the lake, to the dark lake, to Slubladop, to ply their trade. My people work as ferrymen on the lake. Where is it that we are heading?"
Once you get to the lake, we're gonna head to Gracklestog.
No,
Gracklestag.
Neverlight Grove, weren't we? And then
Yeah, we have to go
into
to Gracklestag and then through to the Grove. So the lake takes us to Gracklestag. Gracklestag takes us to the Grove.
He looks
Because the
towards you.
only way to get to Neverlight was to walk. And I think the logic was that we were going to take the fast route and then walk to obviously the safest location. I mean,
Yeah,
the
so-
least amount of walking we can do, the less rolling on the encounter table. Well, I guess in the character's situation, the less encounters they would need to have. So from a strategical standpoint, I could see why we would sort of be taking, I guess, a jumping option. And the lake is a bit safer. Like, I mean, at least there's fresh running water, so that's not going to be an issue.
Yeah, the lake we can then take hopefully a ferry to Gracklestag, then Gracklestag we're on foot to the Grove.
I kind of don't want to go anywhere near Gracklestag. Drow are known to be slavers, and that's where old Matty wanted to go.
No, that was Blindenstone. Where the deep
No,
one wanted to go.
Blindenstone was the Deep Gnome place, which is where
Yeah.
I wanted to go. Deep Gnomes are not notorious for slaving and the trade of human flesh.
Grey.
Blindenstone was closer
Grey
to
dwarves.
Merizens and blah, 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 where the Drow are. That's the direction we want to go. That's the direction I'm going.
As you guys are deliberating, you can see the deep gnome Jimjai sort of still standing on the edge of the water, and he's looking around. He's mumbling to himself. I don't know where she should have been. And all of a sudden, like, you hear this ear piercing in your head, like someone did that weird thing with a microphone. Mark, do you know what that's called? You know that loud screeching
It's
sound?
called feedback, and
It's called
it's
feedback?
horrible.
You hear that just for a second, and you can hear some weird voice. What does it say? The faithless Lord. And you can see the water to your north. It starts to take like a weird grey shape. And
Run.
the dwarven woman's like, I think now would be a good time to go. Let's go. Which way?
I'm pointing at the fish. Fish, which way?
The fish stands
Fish.
up.
The aquatic man. I don't know what he's called. So as person would be like, fish, which
Sushi?
way? I'm
Is
just
his
pointing at
name
him.
Sushi? Similar to sushi?
It
Sushi?
is Shusha. Shusha.
Thank you.
Yes, it's
Sushi,
it's a
that's
good way
interesting now.
good way to remember it. Shusi the fish man, and
Sushi the fish.
he points you guys towards the sort of the northwestern most cavern as this as the water starts to take like an amorphous shape and starts to rise up into like this weird grey glob not 10 feet away to your north. What do you guys do?
Everyone in
Run.
the hole.
I'm paralyzed, so whatever happens, I guess.
So Thrash would pretty much pick you up, I guess. I don't really see it. I mean, she owes you a life debt, so...
Ooh.
Well, not really, but you did sort of defend her, so...
Thank
All
you.
right. So you guys
You're
are
welcome.
heading off. Is anyone going to do anything? You have a quick reaction, something you can do quickly, and then you guys sort of need to start heading off. Anything you want to do before you go? You have
Like
a
to this
moment?
thing or just in general?
Just in general. You have a reaction. You don't need to do anything to this thing if you don't want to. You can start heading off. You can attack it. You can do whatever you want. This thing is sort of still taking its shape at the edge of the water. So what do you want to do? You have a quick second to react.
Yeah, I think I would jump straight into action and just push past everyone until I get to like here. Oops, sorry, wrong mouse thing. Just kind of push past everyone to get kind of in face with this thing, and then just make sure the correct thing. So yeah, I'll sort of push past everyone and point out towards where Sushi sort of directed them, and then like pointing out with my sort of shield arm to them, and then I'm gonna
Name
do
now.
yeah, it has to be now. I'm gonna do a little flourish with my sword, and then just slam it straight into the ground and cast Thunder Wave towards the thing it's forming.
All right, talk to me about Thunder Wave, and then I'll narrate what happens.
Yeah, so as my sword hits the ground, a wave of thunderous force sweeps out from me, and each creature in a 15-foot cube in front of me.
Yep.
Let's make a Constitution saving throw, or take 2d8 thunder damage and just push 10 feet away.
All right. Constitution saving throw. Let's see how much Constitution this life animated blob seems to have. Oh, actually, yeah, that's not too bad. Let's find out. As it roll very slowly. I think I might need to change my dice to a more simple dice because this one rolls very, very slowly. What was the DC for that saving throw?
14.
14.
Con save.
It fails that.
Nice. So it takes 9 thunder damage and is pushed 10 feet away from me.
All right, that happens. So let's go. Oh, let's have a look. Is it stats block? What does everyone else do while this is happening?
Start running in the direction that our aquatic man has pointed.
Mumble incoherently while I'm trapped inside my mind.
Thrash just sort of turns around and sees that he's not running with everyone else, and then remembers to the time when he attempted to stab someone for her, and Thrash, hating to owe anyone anything, just sort of picks him up by his arm and throws him over her shoulder and just starts gunning
I was
it.
going to say, it just throws him back into the water and
Yeah,
you're
it's
dead
like,
weight, buddy.
bye-bye. No.
Throws him at the ooze.
No, just over her shoulder, sitting on her shoulder.
This is made like a stone cavern as well, as it's all like just stone and open stone cavern
Yeah, it's all
where we kind of are.
It's all stone, yeah. Okay,
so
push 10 feet back.
You get a judge of this, but Thunderwave, so that when it slams hits the ground, and it says like a big thunderous boom happening, that's audible out to 300 feet.
All right. So
yeah, the echo on that is going to be one bad boy.
It's like
so you've just given us our position away.
It's like a
Yeah, I don't
shotgun
know,
going off in
was-
this, and it just echoes from the walls. Doom, 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 doom. You can see dust falling from the walls, and Sareth looks around and he's like, "I think it's time to go. You guys
Run.
start heading off towards that."
Run. Yeah, just double
run.
dash.
Yeeting.
Everyone
Ears pinned back.
legs it
Bye-bye.
after you, and you see this this thing as it sort of regains its shape after being pushed back by this thunderous force, and you can feel. Actually, everyone roll a perception check for me.
I can do that.
Am I perceiving the walls of the inside of my skull or something?
18.
Oh, that was nearly a 17. That's a 6.
It's a 10 for me.
All right, we'll just take the 18. Athera, you feel like you can see maybe like a human foot inside the blob. You can't quite make it out for sure.
Don't worry about that. I'm not even going to mention it and just keep running.
Don't even mention it. You can see it like sort of inside of it, and you can see the deep gnome, Turvy. He's sort of still standing at the lake as you guys are running off, but the Quaggoth Derendil scoops him up in much the same fashion that Thrash did to Serethel, and just you guys head off towards the northwestern passage. Let's take a. Well, we started a little bit late. Let's just take a quick break there, guys. And when we come back, we're going to go to another scene, and we're going to figure out how traveling is going to work, because there's going to be some more roles involved with that, and some mechanics that we have to dive into. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, let's take a quick break. Sorry about that, Mitch. I know you just joined us. You joined us at the wrong time. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back in a few minutes, guys. So if you're watching live, please stick with us. If you are watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify, this will be the point at which part 1 ends, and part 2 will be available very soon. So yeah, stick with us, and we'll be back momentarily. In the meantime, enjoy this beautiful theme song by Gus Honeychurch.